Everybody ready? Yep. Are you ready, ma'am?
Yep.
Okay. Evening, everybody. We'll get started. I'll call this meeting of the Osceola County Board of Adjustment to order. This meeting will begin with a public hearing. Anyone other than the applicant or the representative wishing to speak must register and submit the registration slip to the zoning administrator at this time. Following the public hearing, the board will conduct its monthly business meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay for the meeting and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the hearing. The applicant and town board will be sent a copy of tonight's decision. Any other person wishing to receive a copy of the decision can sign the sheet on the table at the front of the room. Those of you wishing immediate knowledge of the outcome of these proceedings may call the county zoning office tomorrow morning. The procedure we will follow for the hearing tonight is as follows. The applicant, their agent, or representative will have the opportunity to present their application, followed by any questions or comments from the board. Then all correspondence will be read. Then others in favor will have a chance to speak. Anyone objecting will then have a chance to speak. I will then ask for a summary of the board's field observations and any staff comments. Finally, the applicant will be allowed a chance for rebuttal if they wish. Anyone wishing to speak should use the microphone at the podium here, state their name, and direct their comments to the board. I ask that all testimony be kept brief and to the point. If you are testifying as a nearby landowner, please tell us where your property is located relative to the subject property. Tonight's hearing will be recorded and the recordings will become part of the record. Comments that are based on hearsay or secondhand information, as well as slanderous or prejudicial remarks, will be ruled out of order. The board has looked at all the properties and the record will reflect these observations. Any person affected by an administrative decision of this board has 30 days from the filing of tonight's decision to make an appeal. Such appeal shall be heard by the Osceola County Circuit Court. Information is available from the Clerk of Court's office and qualified legal counsel. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as to the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of this 30-day period. I'll now introduce the board. On the far end, Jess Urban, John Benz, John Shirk. I'm Kevin Fitzgerald, our zoning administrator, Todd, Secretary Beck. Our first hearing tonight, variance tonight, Wild Rose Sawmill Incorporated, Tomahawk, Wisconsin, has made application for a variance in accordance with sections 58-452 sub A, sub 1 of the Osceola County Zoning Code to create a 2-acre lot within the AG5 General Agricultural 5-acre zone. Location, a parcel of land being the northwest 1/4 of the southeast 1/4, except E 473 feet and except CSM 4106, section 26, T20N R10E, Town of Rose. Fire number W7860, South County Road A. Would the applicant or representative please come forward and tell us a little bit about what you wish to do there? And I'll have some questions for you, and then the board members may have some questions for you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I am Charlotte Wiles. My husband owns Tomahawk Log, who owns Wild Rose Sawmill. Nick is with me. He's our mill manager and has been for, I believe, 19 years. The house has always been part of the mill manager's package, and he lived there all those years. He recently built his own house 5-10 miles away. So we no longer need the house and would like to break it out. We were going to keep the barn because the barn, we do use it for storage. But as we walked around and talked, it's like, you know, it would be nice to cut that off and give it to the house. And it just, there's a nice little clearing back there that gives it a break. And we will be putting some berms up, to keep people off the sawmill property, because there is storage back there. There are machines going back and forth. The 3-phase power is on the right-hand side. And there are definitely trees on the right. We have been paying manufacturing tax on those all these years, and we are starting to harvest them as product. So we wanted to break it off into the 2-acre parcel versus the Ag 5, which I was just informed tonight that was zoned that way back in 2006. But it's always, the house has just always been lived in, and now it's been vacant since early last year. And we're just trying to break it off, make it saleable,
Okay.
and keep as much as we can for the sawmill because it's very active.
Have you had a recent survey?
We did.
Okay,
Daryl Lehman surveyed it, and actually I gave the original survey to Mark Vanda Castle.
Bandcastle, yep. They've actually submitted CSM, which is right now on hold pending tonight's outcome.
okay. So we know where the lot lines are there, correct?
Correct.
Um,
I do have a couple copies of the.
You've
new-
had discussions with the town. I know Todd's had discussions with the town.
We have.
We're not gonna do any building on the lot at this time, right?
It's got a house, there's a garage, there's a barn, there's another building.
Just gonna
and
keep what
it's-
we got there.
Correct.
You're gonna sell that off? Is that what the plan is to do or rent it?
No,
Huh?
we'd like to sell it
Okay,
and,
but I'm just asking.
yeah, we'd
you know,
like to sell it.
Because a new owner may want to add on or something and it makes no difference, but that's just part of it. Are there any non-conforming structures there or anything? Okay. I don't have any other questions. Gentlemen?
Pretty
Nice.
straightforward.
By doing this, we're gonna actually decrease the nonconformity.
Correct. It would be going from, like, right now, and they kind of fell in a little bit of an awkward situation. You know, the rezone, and I'm going to talk about it, the rezone was done in 2006. In 2007, the town adopted their comprehensive plan. And at that time, they asked for all AG properties to go to 4 acres, indirectly creating a non-conforming parcel. And they're not alone. I mean, there's numerous parcels, but you know, it's just for future development. They wanted to maintain larger lots.
Okay, Jess, anything?
No.
All right, you have a
Thank you.
seat and then you'll have a rebuttal if you need it. We'll go through some of the other stuff we got here. Correspondence?
Yep. So I know in the report, I've made mention of a conversation I had last week with Mark Vanda Castle. Since then, I have received an email and I'd like to read it into the record. Just good morning, Todd. This email is to acknowledge that the town board of the town of Rose has reviewed your explanation for the allowance of the conversion of the 1.3 acre lot by the Wild Rose Sawmill to a 2.0 acre lot. After discussion, we voted to allow this conversion at our board meeting January 8th, 2024. If you have any further questions or concerns, please contact me directly, Mark Vanda Castle.
That's the only correspondence?
That's all we have.
Okay, anyone
Nope. we have
favor to
no-
speak?
nobody registered.
Objections?
Nope.
Staff comments?
Okay. Everyone should have a copy of the final report. As I kind of mentioned just a little bit ago, and I know you guys have some exhibits in your packets. This property was part of a rezone that occurred in 2006. At that time, the property north of this home and to the west were actually rezoned to MG and incorporated as part of the sawmill. Indirectly, the parcel that was left out and remained as AG was that irregularly shaped parcel, kind of like a flag lot, upside down flag lot. What the applicant is seeking to do now is incorporate the sheds and a little bit larger buffer area into the home parcel, as they put it, to kind of create a larger homestead and somewhat of a larger buffer to the sawmill operations. And indirectly, or I should say directly, in that creating a more uniform parcel, uniform in the shape of more rectangular, getting rid of that little flag lot portion. And in doing so, we'll go from 1.3 acres to 2.0. Keep in mind, it'll still be non-conforming, but the way we look at it is it's decreasing the degree of non-conformity. Board visited the property at the recent onsite on Monday, January 15th, and generally supportive of their request. And the board really had no other comments. Staff too has reviewed this request and believes that eliminating an irregularly shaped non-conforming lot and creating a much more uniform parcel is in keeping with the area, will provide a greater buffer area to the mill, and will in essence be making a bad situation better. Staff is recommending approval of the variance to create a 2-acre lot within the AG5 General Agricultural Zone, subject to the conditions listed before you and subject to your approval. Straightforward.
So we're just gonna square it up?
That's it. And then one of the conditions in the report too is that by doing this, I'm asking you to direct us to do a minor map amendment Kyle and I will take care of it and adjust the zoning configurations accordingly.
We'll do that at the business part tonight, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Any questions of Todd? Charlotte, do you need a rebuttal or anything? You're good? Okay. All right, we'll move on to our second variance tonight. David Lorenz, Mequon, Wisconsin, has made an application for variance in accordance to sections 58-235, sub B, sub 5, sub B, and 58-542, sub C, sub 2 of the Washington County zoning code to construct a 10-foot by 38.8-foot addition on the roadside of a 16 by 38 existing non-conforming dwelling, non-conforming due to existing side lot setback that is located 10.2 feet, 15 feet required from the southern side lot line. Total improvements to exceed 25% of the footprint of the existing non-conforming structure located in an RS 20 single-family residential zone within the shoreland area. Location, a parcel of land located in section 16, T19N, R11E, Lot 3, Block E of the Retreat Subdivision, Town of Mount Morris, and 3783 Friendship Lane, Lake Morris. Would the representative please come forward, state their name, and tell us a little bit what the plans are?
My name is Stephen Lorenz. I've met all of you just the other day. I'd like to thank you. My brother David, I'm Stephen. My brother David lives most of the time just north of Toledo. He's a businessman there. And I'd like to thank you that the things that we had drawn up in this architecture was on our part not knowing the rules. My brother David and I and our whole family, and we represent a group of 50, we want to follow all the rules. I'm very much interested tonight to get the variance, but also to understand everything that we should do, because, you know, it's not something I've done in my life, you know, and there are things that you just don't know. Like, for example, when I heard the lady here speak, is talking about getting an approval of the Rose Township. I have not seen the township, but I need instructions. If I am to present this to the township, maybe tonight afterwards, just give me some instructions. Now, what this is the cottage was the third cottage built for the Lutheran Retreat. It was built in 1939. This was after the Depression. The cottages in the Lutheran Retreat are almost all summer cottages. It was characteristic of the Great Depression. And so we have a very small place. My parents, Carl and Irene Lorenz, they wanted they wanted this to be a cottage for the family. We now number 60, including even a baby, you know. And we realized this is out of style for modern tastes of our relatives. So we have the opportunity to increase the size, make bigger bedrooms, make the bathroom acceptable, and to make our kitchen acceptable. It's just a very crowded place. So we're doing this for the sake of our family. Does this give you an explanation? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm interested, there are some things I'd like to ask you about, but I mean, I've answered your first question.
Okay. Recent survey.
A survey, yes. We did that promptly at the advising of the zoning committee, which I also am thankful for. Got a lot of good information, learned a lot about this whole matter from that, because I'm the resident person here to do these things. So we have this. I know you have it on file. Okay.
So we know where the lot lines are.
Oh, yes. Yes, we made sure to do that.
Do you know why the structure is considered non-conforming?
Yes, what I learned after we made our architectural plan is that the state of Wisconsin wants to have setbacks at 15 feet. Our setback is roughly speaking 10 and a half feet. So I'm sure that the cottage is accepted the way it is from a grandfather clause sort of thing. But that if there's an addition, we have to conform to the 15-foot rule. And my brother David, who's the supervisor and the main person in this effort, and me and my whole family, we want to do what's right.
Okay.
We'll follow the rules.
Have there ever been any other additions added to that building?
If there was, I don't know how it could be. No, I would say no.
Okay. Um,
I mean,
when we were on site, we talked about possible erosion with any construction and stormwater runoff in the new construction.
Mhm.
So you'd need a silt barrier for that, and that would be part of your contractor's
Okay,
deal.
I just like to be more educated about this because remember, my brother David, who's the chief mover in this, the businessman, he'll ask me questions. So if I may ask,
Okay.
we have not had any runoff trouble to date.
Okay.
And the runoff that would be coming from this will be in the front, in the flat section. And I don't think it would have a tendency to run into the lake. Now,
It
of
could
course-
be running into the neighbor's property too,
See.
or back to the road.
So we do need to put in the
Yeah,
rock pit
Yeah.
and do the.
They work with land conservation on it.
Oh, this is
What I
correct.
think Kevin's referring to though is at the time of building, you'll actually be required to put a silt fence up around your property during construction to avoid runoff from going onto neighboring properties.
Okay.
It's something that after construction and you do some final grading, the silt fence will be removed.
And the general contractor would know that.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll
Yep.
work with them.
Okay.
What kind of foundation do you think this would be on, a basement or?
Well, I'll just tell you the story that I've heard all my life. My father built this in 1939. He got the money from his father, who was a farmer. And his father proceeded to do the foundation and thought of Washoe County like Dodge County. They have heavy loam and clayish soil there. So he made a deep foundation. How deep, I don't know.
Okay.
I know I
But
met
this
him-
would be for the new part that you want to add
Oh, the
on.
new part, thank you. The new part, we want to make a basement there,
Okay.
the whole, and we would have the sufficient foundations, but exactly what the foundation is, I don't know, except that when the channel between Morris Lake and Emerald Lake was blasted out, I met a woman who was a child at that time, and they wanted to hear this blast, and they went down into the pit. So I know that my grandfather built a foundation pretty efficient for the,
Okay.
in other words, he didn't just put it on the sand,
Okay. Or the addition that is in the planning here, is that going to be level with what is there now?
Yes.
Okay.
I never heard any other idea.
Okay.
Nobody's had thought of anything like that.
When we were on site the other day, we talked about the height that you're only allowed, correct?
Yeah, this was another thing that was a surprise to me.
You've
Yes.
restricted?
Yes, you can't
Okay.
raise it above the height that there is. And we thank you for informing of us of this. Yeah.
Any other improvements planned besides this addition on the property?
I can't think of anything.
Okay. Setbacks will be,
There is, I don't know what it would
okay,
be.
all right. Setbacks be met?
We will meet the setbacks. In fact, I want to know exactly what that is so that when we have our architect draw this, she holds to it religiously so that we sure that the contractor also follows the rules.
Yeah. When we were on site, we talked about the septic system and you got that system in there, but your bulk tank is on your side of the road. Is that correct?
I don't know the terminology. We have a field
Yeah.
On the other side.
and that is, my father, before his
There's the
demise,
drain field.
put that in.
Soil.
And part of that field goes into the road a bit and got permission for that.
Yeah.
Private. road.
Okay. And then we have the, I don't know what you call it, but it's what they open up whenever the people come to suck out
Yeah.
the things. And that is, according to this survey, and I called up the zoning committee to check on this, it is 20 feet away from our present building.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I would like to have our, our addition be 17 feet. And, you talked about, you know, you could do whatever you want, but this would,
Well, but here's the issue we have with that. If you go
Okay.
17 feet, you have to maintain by, according to DSPS, which is the governing body, so to speak, on septic fields,
Yeah.
you have to be 5 feet away from the tank.
okay, I didn't get that confirmation when I called up
Yep.
the zoning thing today, so thank you.
Yep.
Well, then we would put it at 15 feet because that would be exactly, it'll be 5 feet away where it is presently and we'll extend the extension 15 feet.
That
We
would
were
make
hoping that
this-
you'd allow it to be like, only 4 feet, but I guess, are you saying that that's against the law?
Yeah.
That's against the law?
What's that?
Okay,
It's a code.
a code,
Yes.
okay.
And that would be between the new construction and the road?
Yes,
It would be 15, okay, so, and one thing that we talked about is, you know, the exhibit that I have shown, you know, kind of prepared for you guys that should be in your packets. That was approximately 14 feet by 28 feet,
Okay.
that little balloon or bubble area. So what he's asking is to go an additional foot and that to go to 15 foot, you know, out. So that'd be 15 feet out from the house, 5 feet away from the edge of the septic tank. Okay.
And
So-
that's perfectly legal.
Yes, but you know, and as I'm going to talk about in the report, I think then we have to look at percentage of the expansion.
Okay.
That we're starting to get up there in terms of, and I'll talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, but
You got a narrow lot there, correct? A narrow lot.
a narrow lot, yeah, they're all from the Lutheran retreat days.
What other, have you considered any other options to what
We did.
you've thought
consider-
about with the family or?
We did consider doing an addition on the other side towards the lake. And we abandoned that because we found out that that is frowned upon.
Yeah.
And we finally felt that the addition we want to put on the roadside is better. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
I don't know of any other thing that we're planning. I mean,
Oh,
we haven't talked about anything else.
Here's the question. What are the hardships and unique property limitations which would support this? And I kind of alluded to the fact, small lot. It's old, predates zoning. Any other thing you can add to that?
Actually, when we made an application, we did write it in there. Now, I don't remember exactly all that. I would have to pull it out, but I think you named some of them. You know, it's hardship. It's too small. The bathroom's too small. The bedrooms are too small. The kitchen's too small.
Are you saying the bathroom's not handicap accessible?
Yeah, you could say that. Say that now. Yeah, I was just thinking that. when I
That
was-
works.
We'd like to make it handicap accessible. We
I
have a
understand.
relative who is in a wheelchair, so.
Are there any other non-conforming structures on the property?
According to the survey, the shed that we have is just a little bit into the next person's property. And that's non-conforming, if that's what you call that. And also, the neighbor also has something that's into our property. We don't care. We're good friends with these people. So,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if that's what you mean by non-conforming.
That would be one of them.
Mhm.
You got that nice porch on the front. You're not going to do anything on the front remodel.
No.
That's not in the plans.
We
No other.
decided that that porch is very popular
Okay.
and we did not want to mess it up. We thought that, well, then we're going to leave that as it is.
In this learning process that you're going through, there's permits that are going to be needed and you'll have to work with zoning office to figure out what you'll need.
Okay.
So
Yeah, well, that was my next question. After we get this variance, we're going to have the architect redraw plans. She gave us 4 choices last time. Perhaps she'll do the same thing this time. And then what do I do?
So you'll have to submit for land use permit,
Land use.
as a building permit, and then you're gonna need what's called a sanitary reconnect permit. It's,
Okay.
you know, the plumber.
Can you allow me to write this down?
Sure.
So the first,
It's with the decision that you get,
Yeah.
all this will be outlined in there.
okay, then that's fine.
Yep.
When do you, if this would be approved, when would you start the project?
We would want to do it in 2024. I've already called some contractors and I have lined up 3 that I will be meeting. They'll take a look at our property. Then my brother David, who's the businessman, he will meet with them and make a decision. So we're busy at work on this. We want to do this work.
Usually you need to have some plans ahead of time. Architectural drawings, what you want to do.
Well, these
Okay.
these were the old drawings. We will, they
Right.
want to see it and I can show them what we have here and I can explain that it's going to be different.
Okay.
And they'll want to meet again then. So I can ask them, I says, since the plan we have is not really what we're going to use, do you really want to meet me now? Well, they do.
No.
Because they want business.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm very pleased to meet with them.
that's all I have. Just anything?
No.
John?
Your architectural drawings, were we to somehow approve this tonight, we couldn't approve those drawings that you have.
No,
We'd have to have drawings that would be conforming to what we are deciding tonight.
absolutely. Yes.
How soon would you think that something like that would get to Todd?
That
How long would it be before you got new architectural drawings?
I can't speak for the architect, but I know that my brother David wants to get this moving.
I mean, 10 days, 2 weeks, a month?
It depends on how fast the architect wants to work. She's very skillful, but I can't run her time,
Because we really couldn't approve anything without having it
No.
some
Anything?
sort of.
Well, John touched on it. And that if we were to approve it tonight, we're approving something that we don't know.
You know the outside dimensions. That's all, yeah.
But we would like to have something, or on my part, I would need something before me that shows your dimensions.
I have them here.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
Is that a 14-foot or is that a 15-foot?
No, it's
That's
neither
the old
because
10-foot. That's
we
the old
started,
10 by
we started with a
38.
10-foot
Okay,
extension
right.
that was.
So that's not
all
even
the way
close
to
to
the
what we're
edge
talking
and-
about.
but those plans you have now
Yeah.
are the old ones.
Mhm.
And so you need new ones.
And we're waiting for the variance so that we can give the architect clear message about what the dimensions are so that it gets right. I can show you, I mean, if after
Yeah,
time, I can show you some things about this to give you a general idea of what we
No,
want.
no, I'm thinking up here, we can ask Todd a question. So the thing that is I'm hung up on, the thing that's bothering me is, so we have plans here that show what is not going to be. We need
Internally.
plans that show what will be.
I really got very glad to bring the new drawings. I
Well-
don't know when it will happen, but I'm very glad to.
And I think that the question right now is that it's very fluid,
Oh, absolutely.
and, there's question whether or not it's 14 foot, 15 foot, we don't know. And I think, and that based upon what I'm gathering here in terms of the direction, we can give the applicant all the parameters in which to build into. And then it's really up to their architect to develop drawings and possibly bring those back to us
Yes.
so that we can see the drawings and approve.
Right.
To my knowledge, and that since I've been here, we've never really approved bubble drawings or bubble diagrams. It's always been based upon specific set of
Right.
drawings. I mean, we're fortunate that we're very early in the season,
Uh-huh.
so that if this were to get tabled, it's something that, that revised drawings can be brought back before you. We can get approvals, get the permits and everything here before
Sure.
the snow melts.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
we'd like to.
so here's what I'm getting at, Todd, and I think you know where I'm going with this. So the original request was a 10 by 38.8 foot addition.
Can I explain why that was 10
No,
feet?
no, that's all right.
Okay.
because that's what the variance was requesting. So if you go back here under the recommendation from the staff, recommending approval of the variance to construct an approximate 14-foot by 28-foot.
Yeah.
So that's my hangup, if you will. I would like to see the drawings, if that's the direction you are going and your brother is
Yeah.
going, I would like to see the drawings that show that.
I'm very pleased
But
about
we've
that.
also discussed 15-foot,
Right.
another foot closer to the
I would
tank.
really, my brother David, who I say is the prime mover in this,
Sure.
he said, Steve, get as much as you can. That's why I was hoping that you would, it was not a rule of the 5 feet, but now you tell me it
Okay.
is. So 15 feet is what we want. We want as much as we can get because we want to serve our family.
Then
I
you're
understand
looking
that.
at percentages for your 25%,
Well, if we
Square
have to
footage,
do it
too.
for some reason at 14, I'm not gonna lose sleep on it.
I-
We did the 10-foot because that's all we thought we would get.
Sure. And I
We didn't
understand
have any
that.
idea of, in
But-
fact, you're the one that brought it up. I
Right.
didn't think of it, so thank
Yeah.
you. No.
So my concern is we would be approving something that we don't know yet.
Okay.
And I'll just leave it at that.
plus we
I w-
talked
and
about
that's
the
where I
height,
have
the
trouble.
height for the addition can't be any higher than the
Yep.
other one too. Just anything?
No, it's just, I'd like to hear what Todd has to
All
say
right.
about going to 15,
All right.
and increase in percentage.
Steve, that's all the questions I think the board has. If you want to have a seat, then
Okay.
we'll go through our list and then we'll give you a rebuttal if you want it.
So you're not going to approve the variance today?
Not yet. We
Okay.
haven't
No,
got
no,
there
just-
yet. That's just a
There's
discussion.
still some more discussion. So,
We-
but
We got a way to go here yet.
Okay, it's hard you have to understand, it's hard for us to go to the architect and say, draw us new plans, and then you might say, no, we're not going to have this. You're going to have a different thing, because we were really hoping for this, but then because of our ignorance, we can't do this. This doesn't work. It
No.
just is totally, so we have to come
I think-
upon something else.
I think where we're headed tonight is to give you exact parameters in which to build.
That's what I thought we were
for.
doing.
And, and I think that's kind of what I'm hearing, but I think we still have a little bit more discussion. So, and there's a gentleman that wishes to speak, so we'd like to let him and then I'd like to just kind of talk a little bit more based upon what we've reviewed and our comments.
Okay.
Steve, before you sit down, let me ask you, do you have a builder that has seen your plans?
I only called him like 2 days ago.
Oh, so he
So-
hasn't looked at your plans or anything? 'Cause
We have 3
Okay.
that said we can do it. And
normally they would know these parameters
yeah,
because they built before in Washington County.
I've talked on the phone about what we're trying to do, and they wanting business. I mean,
Sure.
they want to come and look at what this is about.
But
Sure.
none of them have seen those plans yet.
Not yet.
Okay,
No.
that makes.
I mean, I would show them these plans, but I'll say we can't use them, but we're
Right,
going
yeah.
to.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Okay.
Okay.
thank you.
My brother will be asking me, okay, so how can we proceed with the plans if they have not given this variance? And what do I tell him?
I think if you have your sheet, you'll get direction from the board here when we go through our process here a little bit, okay?
Do you know how long that would take before? My brother will ask.
No,
me.
we're gonna do it right tonight.
Okay, is that private meeting?
No,
No,
we're
open
going to talk
meeting.
about it here in just a
10
minute.
minutes?
Okay, I'll be here answering any questions you want. Thank you,
Right.
thank you.
Thanks for your input. Correspondence?
I have no correspondence. I do have a gentleman and that wishing to speak in favor, Robert Road. If you,
I'm just really here to.
okay,
Okay,
Two doors down.
okay,
okay.
all right.
Your round house on the road there?
Yes.
We turned around in your driveway the other day.
Thanks for shoveling.
Thank you. No
So-
objections?
No,
Nothing from the town?
nope. So
Before we go any farther,
Yes.
are there any covenants in that retreat for building?
If there are, they would be privately and, privately endorsed
Okay.
and enforced. We don't, from a county standpoint,
Okay,
we don't get involved.
all right. Staff comments.
So, we've looked at this thing. I know when it originally came in, we were concerned about the increasing the degree of nonconformity. And I know I specifically cited two quick cases just recently that came before us, the Montgomerys and the Zagorskis. That is at what time I, did get with Mr. Lorenz, and we talked about, I think we're agreeable in that it is a very, very small house. I think we would be agreeable from a staff perspective to support a variance request. But we wanted to see it adhere to other setbacks, the side lot setbacks, front yard setbacks, and keep it within the parameters, the percentages that we've allowed before in the past. And that brings me, I guess, kind of to, the question that's before us tonight. I've got a couple of concerns. I tried to, and please understand that 14 by 28, that was just a bubble diagram to show you how he could meet the setbacks of 15 foot and get the square footage, what they were originally looking for. I think the original request was for 388 square foot, which represented a 62% variance request or whatever. So I tried to keep that. So at 14 by 28, that was 392 square feet or 4 square feet larger. That represents about a 64% addition. The Zagorskis was 67%, but I just want to keep in mind that that was a double lot, a little bit larger house and that, but still small lot. The question is, if we go up to 15 foot, we have to look out for two things: the proximity of that addition to the well, or excuse me, the manhole and for the septic tank. And we also have to look at the percentages. If you go to 15 by 28, that represents 420 square foot. That now bumps that percentage from 64% up to 70%. So if we're going to go to 15 foot, then I would say that the area stay 15 by 26, which is 390 square foot. And once again, keeps us at that 388, 390, about 64%. With that, I guess it's really going to be what your comfort level is. I know I had originally recommended approval of a bubble zone 14 by 28, but it sounds like that now is in question. My suggestion is that we table this, but we give Mr. Lorenz clear directives, maintain the 15-foot setback, maintain a front yard setback, and maybe give him, the maximum coverage of 64% and let Lorenz's architect come back to us with a drawing that represents that square footage. That was one of the conditions in here, is that at the time of land use permit, is that, they revise the plan to reflect a home that meets the required front yard, side yard setbacks and shall not exceed an increase of 64% of the total footprint. That leaves the design up to them in terms of how they get there, whether that's 14 foot, 15 foot, 28 or 26 foot wide. It's really up to the architect then to come up with that parameter. Yes.
Either way, the side lot setbacks would remain as is.
Well, we're suggesting that the setback for the new addition be 15 foot, which is required of RS 20 homes.
Yes.
And we did that for Zagorski. We did that for Montgomery's. Even though the house didn't meet the setbacks, the addition would meet the setbacks.
Do you know, Todd, when you're measuring from the septic tank to the new addition, what point of the new addition does that measurement come from?
That I don't know. I mean, the 20 foot, typically, and that per our drawings and what we do today is from the edge of the foundation to the edge of the tank.
Okay.
So when we see 20 foot, we're assuming that's to the edge of the tank, and that's based upon Mark Schumacher's old notes from back in the day, I think in 94.
Okay. Yeah, because
We'll get to you.
yeah, I'd say you definitely want to call the building inspector and get, as far as if you're planning on from 14 to 15, if the building inspector is measuring and it's 4 foot, 11 and a half inches, you might say, well, what's this? You can't be this close to the septic tank. So you don't want to make sure that you get that measurement right when you're determining if you're going that extra foot or not.
He might be better to stay with the 14 and the 28 wide than going to the 15 and 26.
Right.
You're
'Cause if
getting,
you-
you're getting a foot here, but
Right.
and then if you want,
And the thing you have to worry about too is the closer you get to that, the more, once again, you're relying upon old records. The closer you get to that tank, the more susceptible you are to damaging that tank. And then you're looking at incurring additional cost.
and you're putting a basement in
repair
right next to
replacement.
it.
Correct. But
Okay. Any other staff comments?
nope, that's pretty much it.
Good. Hang on a minute, Steve. Any questions of Todd?
Yes.
Okay, John.
So what, if we boil this down, what we're dealing with is a 388 square foot addition,
Approximately, yes.
right? That has to be, according to code, 15 feet from each side lot line.
Mhm.
So, as Steve said, he can go with the 15 feet that he's amenable to. So what we're dealing with then is the width and the depth of the new addition. And so we're boxed in on the new addition because of the septic tank.
And we also have to look at the percentage of the increase in square footage.
Yep. So am I correct in assuming, and I'm playing here. So if Steve were to take the 388 square feet, go back to the architect and say, here's the square footage we have to deal with. So if we have to deal with this square footage, we can't go above that because of the percentage.
And I would say we have to afford a little bit of flexibility. And
Yes.
what I'm saying is 4 square feet, because when you look at dimensions, 15 by 26, unless you start getting into halves, and that's going to be pretty costly when it comes to construction, but
But we don't want to do that.
I would say keep it, close to 388 square feet. And
It's
leave-
392 on your back page here.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
And that was because that was based
I missed
upon
that.
that was based upon the 16 foot by, or
28, 14 by
14
28.
14 by 28, sorry.
Okay. So obviously what I'm trying to get at here is to give Steve a number he can work with and go back to the architect and say, here's what we're allowed to work with because of side setbacks and because of the septic tank.
Yep.
Am
Yeah.
I in the ballpark on
Yeah.
that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Rebuttal, come on up, Steve.
Answer about septic tank. I called up the zoning office today. I talked to Rick.
Yep.
And he revealed that it was recorded as 20 feet.
I have a copy of the permit right here.
Okay, very good. And then I know that sometimes people mess up. So I checked this against our survey. And it is exactly 20 feet to not to the center of the
Nope.
pit, but to the edge.
Correct.
So I personally would prefer the 28 times 14 than a 26 by 15. Because I think one problem is it's not the matter of the square feet, it's the shape of it and how you can get these bedrooms and bathrooms and things all worked in there. I mean, this is my opinion. Okay, that's what I was thinking of saying.
All right. Thank you. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. That concludes the public hearing for both hearings tonight, and we will go into our business meeting. Show the roll call of us here, and I would please show that George Peterman is excused because of medical reasons. I'll accept the motion to approve the agenda. Jess, second.
I'll second.
John, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Approval of the minutes from the Monday meeting. John Benz,
I'll second.
Just seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Action of the public hearings tonight. The first one will be the sawmill, Wild Rose Sawmill. And we'll just shorten it up and say at West 7860 South County Road. Is there any discussion or a motion on this?
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion.
We have a motion to request to approve the request from Wild Rose Sawmill. And is there a second?
I
Just-
second.
Just seconds. And John, your reasons, please, for approving it.
Sorry, hardship is present and the current code requirements would be unnecessarily burdensome and prevent the applicant from properties with permitted use because the impacts of land division are being minimized by providing a more plot layout. Minimal relaxation of the code is being offered. Lot predates updated zoning regulations, and the construction matches the lot and available area. Hardship or unreasonably burdensome limitation of the setbacks is due to the unique physical features, limitations of the property, that the lot is very narrow in areas. Lot is irregularly shaped. Accessory structures not associated with the sawmill will be incorporated onto the new agricultural residential lot. The variance will not harm the public interest or neighboring land uses because the visibility is good at the driveway location, traffic is light. This would make a bad situation better. Good vegetation exists. The proposed use will not harm the public zoning code or neighboring land uses if conditions are followed. Therefore, the requested variance, if approved, the following conditions shall apply. The development must be in substantial compliance with the site plan and testimony provided at the public hearing. All other required setbacks must be complied with. All code requirements must be complied with. A certified survey map is required within 6 months of the date of the variance approval. Staff is directed to prepare a minor map amendment adjusting the zoning limitations of each parcel lot accordingly. The applicant will allow agents of Waushara County access to the property to ensure compliance with the terms of the decision, Waushara County codes and state and federal laws. And the landowner is responsible for determining the outlines and required setbacks.
Okay. For John's reasons, we'll take a roll call vote. Jess?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And I vote yes. It's 4-0. It's approved for the sawmill. Good luck. Thank you. Okay. That's it.
Who built the snow bucket on the front of that tractor?
You cleared that nice driveway out. We didn't even use it the other day. Yeah. Yeah.
I will get with Kyle first thing in the morning and we'll, I'm sorry? Yep, well, and the thing is too, the CSM and that, so I have your check. I'll get with Kyle, we'll contact your surveyor and say, distribute the survey, start getting it signed. Okay, yep, so I'll give him a call in the morning. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I do.
Stay warm.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in. All right, we'll take our second variance for tonight, and that will be the one on Mount Morris. And it's fire number N3783 Friendship Lane, Lake Morris. Any discussion or motions?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion. What's
I'm
your
gonna-
motion, John?
My motion is to table,
Okay, we have a motion to table.
but let me explain why.
Okay.
As we discussed, so you're aware of why we're tabling it, Steve. As long as I've been here, we have not approved a variance without seeing something in front of us that we can look at so we know exactly what we're approving. Fortunately, because we're at this time of the season, we have the time for you to go back to the architect with some direction from us, and then come back with new drawings so we know exactly what we're approving for a variance. And that's That's important to us, especially to me. So for those reasons, I'm making a motion to table this until Lorenz's come back with finalized drawings that meet the parameters of what we discussed tonight.
Mr. Chairman, I'd second that.
I was gonna ask for a second. Further discussion, do you want to, in your motion to table, give him direction as to what the board is thinking as far as a 14 by 28?
Yes, well, that was, I don't know whether to include that or can he go to you?
I would say we can incorporate that into the table decision. Let's
Okay.
give them some parameters and,
Okay.
you know, meet side yard setbacks, front yard setbacks, 388
three.
approximate square footage.
14 by 28 is a 392 square footage.
Okay,
You put that,
so table it. So part of the parameters then, Steve, in my motion to table it would be the 300 to not exceed the 392 square feet and maintain the 15-foot side lot line and the 5 foot for the
minimum
septic.
of 5 foot.
Yeah, minimum 5 foot from the septic.
Did you say 520?
392.
Not to exceed 300.
Yeah.
Which is the 14 by 28. Your addition that you were proposing was 388 square foot, just for your,
4 extra square.
that was the, well, your original proposal was 10 foot by 38, which was 388 square feet. What we're recommending is if you want to go a little bit longer to 14 foot, it would be 14 by 28. That's approximate. 392 square feet is your maximum.
So
And
are we square on that?
Yeah, and then just a reminder of the height
Oh, the
can't
height, yep,
exceed the
John.
existing building.
you might want to put in your, that the height can be no higher than the current height of the house.
Yeah, okay. And the height of the,
The height.
included in my
height-
motion then is the height of the addition cannot be higher than the existing structure.
Okay, we have a motion to table. You've heard John's reasons for tabling it. We'll take a roll call vote. John Benz?
Aye.
Jess?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Yes. And I agree. 4-0 to table it with the provisions and the direction given to the applicant.
You'll have a, invite us out for a 4th of July picnic. You'll-
Actually, my brother wants to ask you that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Memorial Day.
After the meeting, if I could ask a question.
Oh, sure, no problem. Todd will be here.
Yep.
Okay, now we need a motion to do a map amendment on the sawmill one. As part of,
Did we take a vote?
yeah, we
Okay,
did 4-0.
sorry. I'm sorry.
The
Okay.
table. Steve, just a thing on tabling it. There's a cutoff day each month for when you can get it in. So I think we're past this for February already.
Yesterday.
That was yesterday, unless
Yeah.
Todd makes an exception, but I don't think, you're not gonna get the plans in time to get it in. So it'll probably be a March if you can get the plans in.
February 17th. Yeah, we're checking. Yeah, if you were to go to March, it would be February 21st is the deadline to get everything back to us.
February 21st.
Okay.
You got a map interpretation?
Yeah, well, let me just go through here. Any extensions or variance applications?
We have none?
Okay, minor changes to prove it, none.
Nope.
Review and possible action on map interpretations, or we'll put the map amendment here. How's that?
Correct. For the Wild Rose
Sawmill.
Sawmill.
Yes.
Jesse, want to make that
Yeah,
motion?
Mr.
So
Chairman, I
Jess
make
makes
a
a motion for a map amendment for the variance for the Wild Rose Sawmill. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
John Shirk seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Nothing for next month, Beck? Okay. Todd, anything else from your side?
Nope, I think pretty much I will work with Mr. Lorenz and.
Who does text amendment?
Yes. Yep. So, Yep.
Okay.
No meeting next month.
no meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Questions, comments? I asked Todd to get us a copy of the Julie DeBosch
Yes.
decision, but he hasn't seen it yet. So we're still waiting for that. I'd like to read it to see the judge. The judge ruled in our favor, but I'd like to,
He's given us a verbal, both Ruth and I, but nothing in writing. And Julie she's a little bit beyond herself. But anyways, she contacted me very upset, and we just only thing we could do is refer her to Judge Hendy's office because he's in charge of this.
Where's he out
And
of?
Randy Rux, he's
Marquette.
Marquette.
Okay,
Randy Rux his building is probably done by now. So he constructed it and so
and the property on Twin Lake, that's pending till,
we have until April 1st. And so we will be following up on them. If we do not see their land use and building permits are going to expire, if they're not under considerable headway on that, we're going to be taking them to court
okay.
to force action.
Remind me, Ruck's place, his cottage was on the lakeside.
Randy Rux, it was actually, it was just an accessory building
Right.
on a very small lot
Right.
that met all the setbacks. Julie DeBosch thought that property was hers and should have been hers. And so she put a stop work order on it.
But doesn't Rex
In a
own
lawsuit.
other property there?
He does.
Yeah.
Yep. But this doesn't pertain to that. It's on the other side of,
But he's building it for storage.
Good.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's a garage, just like you go down the road, there were other garages.
Sure.
So. All right, I'll accept the motion to go home.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned in a second.
Yeah, I'll
Ben?
second.
All in favor?
all right.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for coming in.